just so I actually get one in the box about this, Maria.
Joining me right now is Ohio Congressman, Financial Services Committee member.
I don't know, first
Warren
shot.
Davidson. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much. Your
Always
reaction to this bill.
Maria.
Yeah, and now Sinema looks to
be fine.
About to support it because they are taking out this carried interest tax. Your thoughts?
Well, it's better than putting it in, but she's got some modest wins on taxes. I mean, thankfully, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten
half
Sinema
the army
have
before he sent them.
backed
Yeah,
the
that
Democrats
knows
in the
something.
Senate down from where they started.
Believe me, I
with
watch
$5
them.
trillion worth of spending down to $800 billion, but it's hardly a win. I mean, most of this is spending on Green New Deal climate stuff, massive subsidies and economic distortions, and frankly, tax hikes that are going to raise inflation. I mean, all these prices are going to come through. All the extra costs to do infrastructure projects are going to come through. It's going to raise the costs on lots of things, and it's going to distort our economy.
Do you think it goes through? I mean, the Congressional Budget Office says that the bill will reduce the federal budget deficits by $102 billion over 10 years. I know you say that the Congressional Budget Office has a history of misses, which is why you are pushing the CBO to Show Your Work Act. Tell me about that.
Yeah, thank you. So the CBO comes out with these pronouncements, and they'll say, "Oh, well, this is going to save $102 billion." They don't really provide adequate support. They don't show their models. So if this was an academic paper, someone would show their work, and it would be peer reviewed, and people would say, "Well, I don't reproduce the same result with your assumptions. I get that it's actually going to cost money." One of the biggest misses they had is when they said the federal student loan takeover
Diffie-Hellman key exchange is fast and hot. Do it, get it done, and we're done. Character card development, pick up a dungeon and find a dragon.
Just take at face value what CBO says. So when you look at other models, they aren't as confident. And one of the biggest things is they'll say, well, it saves $1 in year 10. And it spends $1 this year, so it's neutral. Well, no, that's not the same thing. So, the right way to model this would be done in the private sector, and it'd be great to see that analysis able to be done by the data being shown.
Well, Congressman, let's go through some of this spending, because you've got $728 billion of new spending. $248 billion for the Obamacare subsidies when removing the 3-year sunset. You've got $400 billion for the Green New Deal when removing these 2-year sunsets, and $80 billion for the IRS to double in size, increase audits on America. What's going on with this IRS change? Is this the same thing that he had in the $5 trillion plan, where he wants to get 86,000 new agents?
Right, 5 infantry divisions worth of
just so I'm clear about, hey, I don't like it as long as he's fired up about going kicking a DA in the head about the nonsensory here on both sides. As much as the church telling Shapiro he needs to go to some gay wedding that he wasn't for, or just anybody's wedding that he wasn't for in the mosque, really, or temple, or church, or organic chemistry of ideal. Fun fact more.
To move money out of the economy. And
you gotta have dodgeball, dodge wrench things inside here on this hot mess being a problem with you can't have a double narrative on those swinging hip in here about what'll happen later on some nonsensory of government, church, and physics. You get that quantum experiment that breaks the universe with 2 slits, 3 slits, everything from Taiwan, not just semiconductors. And this is only from like this year, a couple months ago.
Being the deciding vote. What are your thoughts in terms of
interesting? Very, very
well,
interesting.
It'll be sad if it happens. The good news is in the
Senate.
So
there's that. Now I have to look at it. Okay, wrenches from Taiwan is what's keeping things up on the charm of what the top glue on here to define the Higgs.
Working with senators to say, please consider offering this amendment or that. They
are but in truth of the matter, yes and no. It's more of a quantum problem than a a yes or no
puts
problem
it out
on
probably, you know,
what's
we'll get
going
the
on
bill.
here.
If it's the standard routine, we'll get the final text at about midnight.
But we can't
and
keep
we'll vote on
things
it
up
about 10 o'clock in
driving.
the
Warren
morning,
Buffett
and all
will
the
tell you,
Democrats will
look,
follow orders
you always
and
buy the
vote
dip.
for it.
I mean, when she's,
We'll see whether any
you
of the
know,
Democrats
come
in
back
the House
down
are
from where you
actually,
were, get out a little bit,
attentive
get
enough
back
to
in,
say,
do
you
the
know,
hokey
I
pokey.
kinda see
Yeah, I
what's
mean, you
going
can't
on
stop
here.
big slides, but
Let's not
hopefully
do
you cover
this.
for time,
Wow.
right? You can get back
But
to
I'd be
keep
surprised.
throwing into the mountain until that thing
Yeah.
gets back up to where she
What
was.
a way to
But
pass
why would you come
legislation,
off on
Congressman.
anything
Really
else? I mean, I
incredible.
got
We'll
their
be watching.
numbers,
Thanks
works
very
out. Now I
much,
have to learn
Warren
everything
Davidson, for
else, and it
joining us
comes
this
in the
morning.
sector. You do.
When Alexis
You do
de
the
Tocqueville
thing you
traveled
do,
around
and you
America in
did
the early
the thing you
1830s,
did.
he observed something that he was amazed by. He observed that Americans, when there's a problem to be solved, they just get together and figure out how to solve it.